Did the bold and the beautiful writers forget about Zende Forrester? Every once in a while the bold and the beautiful airs an episode and includes Zende Forrester. On a good day he gets a line too. For months now soap fans have campaigned online to see more of Delon de Metz on the daytime show, but so far to no avail. Is it time the bold and the beautiful writers gave Zende Forrester a storyline, or are they just going to let him sizzle away on the back burner? Keep reading to find out. Here's what's coming up next on the CBS soap, warning spoilers down below. Will Zende be included in Eric's new storyline? BNB has an exciting month of drama, wedding planning, and holiday festivities lined up. But nowhere in any of the previews that have been released is Zende Forrester. In fact, it's hard to remember when Zende had a storyline of his own on the soap. These days the writers just use him to prop up the Forrester Creations gang. The majority of his appearances are at the office. The last time Zende Forrester had any major dialogue on Bold and the Beautiful, it was when he was feuding with R.J. Forrester and Eric Forrester. John McCook was on his deathbed. Interestingly, the Bold and the Beautiful revealed this week that Eric's health is deteriorating, and that means there is a chance that Delon de Metz will get some screen time again. The last time Eric was on his deathbed, Zende was front and center for the family drama. Zende's tired of being excluded. BNB viewers will recall that Zende threw a fit and complained that the Forrester family leaves him out of everything. And he wasn't lying. When was the last time Zende scored an invite to any major event on the soap? Broken heart, the tragedy of the forgotten Forrester. Has the Bold and the Beautiful left Zende behind? In the swirling, glamorous, and often hyperdramatic world of the Bold and the Beautiful, where love triangles are as essential as the Forrester Creations logo, one figure has faded into the background, leaving fans with a profound sense of sadness and disappointment: Zende Forrester Dominguez. Today, the very sad news isn't a shocking death or a scandalous betrayal on screen, but a quiet, almost cruel erasure from the central narrative. The question that hangs heavy in the air, echoing across social media and fan forums, is a heartbreaking one. Did the Bold and the Beautiful writers simply forget about Zende Forrester? This is a tragedy for several reasons, chief among them the immense potential of the character, the compelling nature of his recent, albeit controversial, storylines, and the disrespectful feeling it leaves with a loyal audience that has watched Zende grow up from a child adopted by Kristen Forrester and Antonio Dominguez, into a handsome, talented, and integral part of the Forrester dynasty. The promising heir sidelined. Zende is not a peripheral character. He is the grandson of the patriarch, Eric Forrester. He is a legitimate, successful fashion designer with a portfolio that includes work in Paris and Los Angeles for the very company that bears his family name. He is the definition of a Bold and the Beautiful core character, young, attractive, connected, and possessing a deep emotional history. The current portrayal of Zende, however, is anything but central. He is frequently relegated to the role of a walk-on, a sounding board, or, most painfully, an off-screen reference. Consider the stark evidence of his marginalization. The Luna drama discard. Zende was recently the victim in a major storyline involving Luna Nozawa and a night of misguided passion, which was then sloppily retconned to frame Luna as a schemer. This was a high-stakes, emotionally charged plot point that directly involved Zende's career, his relationships, and his reputation. Yet, as the fallout intensified, with Luna's shocking change of character, her jail time, and the subsequent drama with Will Spencer, Zende was swiftly cast out of the main action. The story moved on, but his emotional trauma and the impact on his life were left unaddressed, almost as if he was just a prop to move Luna's villain arc forward. The design war capitulation. For a time, Zende was engaged in a compelling, competitive fashion rivalry with his cousin, R.J. Forrester. This storyline, which pitted two talented young Forresters against each other for the future of the company and Eric's approval, was exactly the kind of high-octane drama the show thrives on. But the rivalry was abruptly dissolved, and Zende, the proven and talented designer, was once again sidelined in favor of new characters like Deke Sharp taking the lead on the Hope for the Future line. His current official role is vaguely working on the couture line with Eric and Ridge, a position that exists more in dialogue than on screen. The romantic void. Zende's love life has been consistently underdeveloped. After the messy conclusion of his relationship with Paris Buckingham, which also saw him get pushed aside, he has been left in a romantic limbo. In a soap opera built on romance, leaving a leading man without a compelling love interest is the clearest sign that the writers have no immediate plans for him. A disrespectful omission. The sadness surrounding Zen's fate isn't just about lost drama, it's about a pattern of disrespectful writing toward a character that represents diversity within the core family. The character has an established history, a lineage, and a fan base, yet he is treated as a disposable pawn in the larger, repeating chess game of the Logans and the main Forrester line, Ridge, Steffi, and Thomas. Fan discussions, particularly on social media, frequently lament this phenomenon. Comments like, Zende has the name but not the $, plus the writers forgot about him, or they don't want to give a black man, who's not Carter, too much screen time, speak to a profound sense of frustration. It suggests a feeling among viewers that the show operates with a limited capacity for developing non-mainstream Forrester characters, regardless of their talent or history. His disappearance into the background is particularly galling when the show is currently grappling with the drama of Eric Forrester's new health crisis. Zende is Eric's grandson, a core member of the family, and a key designer. Yet, in moments of extreme family turmoil, Zende is inexplicably absent from the emotional center, turning up for quick, non-essential scenes that serve no dramatic purpose other than to remind the audience he still exists. The hope for Zende's future. Despite the pervasive sadness today, there remains a flicker of hope, a desire among the viewers for Zende's return to prominence. He represents a potential shift in the show's often cyclical drama. Speculation is rife that Zende could be the key to a compelling new arc at Forrester Creations. The Steffi alliance, some fans and commentators suggest Zende should ally himself with Steffi Forrester Finnegan. With Steffi's continuous drive to put the Forrester back into the company's forefront and distance herself from the drama often caused by the Logans, Hope and Brooke, Zende could be a valuable, talented, and loyal team player. A professional alliance that turns into a rivalry with Hope and her new designer could give Zende the spotlight he deserves. The Secret Weapon, the character was recently positioned in a brief, intriguing plot thread where he was supposedly convinced to stay at Forrester Creations as the family's spy against the Carter and Hope-led regime. This is a brilliant, albeit underdeveloped,
Zende with
angle.
a secret
agenda, playing a double game to secure his power within the company, is a compelling, high-stakes role that would immediately propel him back to the center. A true power couple, the show needs new couples. Pairing Zende with a new, equally powerful and unattached female character who can hold her own against the established power players, like Hope or Steffi, is overdue. Give Zende a romance that doesn't feel like an afterthought or a consolation prize. The sad truth, however, is that as long as the writers prioritize the same few characters and retread the same storylines, Zende Forrester will remain a beautiful, talented soul, the forgotten Forrester, wandering the halls of the company that is rightfully his, but is unwilling to give him a true voice. His silence on screen is a profound disappointment to fans who know he deserves a story as bold and beautiful as his name suggests. The air in the opulent halls of Forrester Creations has always been thick with the heady mix of expensive perfume, creative genius, and high-stakes drama. But today, a profound sense of melancholy hangs over the entire family, overshadowed by a single, heart-wrenching conflict, the forced retirement of the patriarch, Eric Forrester. This isn't just about a powerful businessman being urged to step down, it's a battle for a man's identity, his legacy, and his very will to live. And as the family fractures over Ridge's aggressive push for Eric to retire, an eviction masked as a celebratory party, a deeper, more insidious tragedy unfolds, the continued sidelining and erasure of Zende Forrester Dominguez. The question echoing through the emotional turmoil is a somber one: will Zende finally be included in Eric's pivotal, final stand, or will he once again be the forgotten Forrester? The heartbreak of Eric, a legend under siege. The current storyline surrounding Eric, the legendary John McCook, is proving to be one of the most emotionally resonant in years. Ridge, Torsten K., along with Brooke, Catherine Kelly Lang, has orchestrated a surprise retirement party for Eric, believing they are acting out of genuine concern for his health. Eric, who has been quietly working on a new, vibrant couture line and feeling better than ever, sees this not as a tribute, but as a betrayal and a forced eviction from the company he founded and the work he loves. Eric's refusal to accept this forced retirement is the emotional heart of the drama. He is fighting for the right to define his own ending, to create until his last breath. His furious reaction, demanding respect and accusing Ridge of acting out of ego rather than concern, has ripped a new schism in the Forrester family. Sides are being drawn, Ridge and Brooke stand firm, while others like Donna and Daphne question Ridge's disrespectful and dismissive approach. This new fashion war, the ultimate father-son showdown, desperately needs a strong supporting cast of family members to either rally behind the founder or fall in line behind the new CEO. And yet, despite the entire family being embroiled in this high-stakes power play, Zende's presence remains minimal, an afterthought whispered in the corners of Forrester Creations. The Invisible Designer, Zende's Quiet Tragedy. Zende Forrester Dominguez, Delon de Metz, is Eric's adopted grandson, a talented and successful designer in his own right. He has worked hard to establish his place at the company, yet his journey has been one of constant, subtle exclusion. Recall the recent drama where Eric chose to work closely with RJ on his final, deeply personal couture line, effectively sidelining Zende. This choice, driven by Eric's deteriorating health, unknown to Zende at the time, ignited a feud between the cousins, forcing Zende to fight for recognition he felt was his due based on seniority and experience. Even now, with Eric in a fresh, explosive conflict, Zende is still positioned on the periphery. This is the true sad news of the day, that in the most profound family crisis in years, a battle for the soul and design future of Forrester Creations, Eric's own grandson, a skilled and seasoned designer, is nowhere near the center of the fray. The invisibility cloak, Zende is a Forrester with a legacy in design, yet the narrative often treats him as an outsider. Even when he is working on the couture line, as briefly mentioned in some speculation, the show rarely features him in the process, choosing instead to focus the design aspect almost entirely on Ridge, Hope, and RJ. The lack of emotional weight, the current storyline is rich with opportunities for Zende. He is a younger Forrester who has already felt the sting of being undervalued by his family. His unique perspective could be a powerful catalyst. He could side with Eric, having been overlooked for RJ. Zende could strongly empathize with Eric's feeling of being dismissed and deemed irrelevant, leading him to become Eric's secret weapon in a new rival fashion house. He could be Ridge's informant. Conversely, he could be pressured by Ridge or Steffi to use his position to gather intelligence on Eric's next move, forcing him into an agonizing family conflict. The missed opportunity. Eric's story is about his legacy. Zende is the direct continuation of that legacy, an adopted son's son who embodies the non-biological family Eric has always embraced. His inclusion would not only honor Eric's life story but also provide a much-needed injection of drama and purpose for Zende himself, who has recently been lost in personal drama. The path forward, how Zende can change everything. The greatest storylines on The Bold and the Beautiful are built on high-stakes family conflict and shocking twists. Eric's refusal to retire is a ticking time bomb, and Zende is the perfect character to be the trigger for its explosion. If Zende steps up to support his grandfather, the entire fashion world of Los Angeles could change overnight. The new rival house, Eric will undoubtedly start his own rival fashion house to compete with Forrester Creations, a revival of the fashion war trope. Zende is the only Forrester designer with the seniority and skill who could credibly be his partner. Imagine the powerful dynamic, Eric, the master, working with Zende, the underappreciated talent, to take down Ridge and the Forrester/Logan alliance. This move would finally give Zende the spotlight he deserves and instantly raise the stakes for Eric's fight. The Secret Keeper. Zende has a history of keeping explosive secrets, such as the details of Brooke's past CEO plans. He could be the one character who learns the full extent of Eric's private plans to retaliate against Ridge, becoming the linchpin who determines whether the secret is exposed or used for Eric's gain. The sad news today is not just Eric's predicament, but the silence surrounding Zende. Viewers are desperate to see the talented designer integrated into the central action, especially when the main character, Eric, is fighting for the very existence of a creative space for a designer. If the writers continue to neglect Zende during this high-stakes family battle, they are missing an opportunity for profound emotional depth and a spectacular, season-defining twist. The fate of Eric Forrester's career and legacy hangs in the balance. We can only hope that Zende, the forgotten Forrester, steps out of the shadows and claims his rightful place in this dramatic final chapter. His decision, to stand with the father who dismissed him or the grandfather who needs him, could be the biggest shocker of the season. Forrester Creations, usually humming with the electric energy of high fashion and familial drama, felt thick and suffocating today. But this time, the tension wasn't over a scandalous affair or a stolen design, it was over a quiet, agonizing ache in the heart of one of its most talented, yet perpetually overlooked, members, Zende Forrester Dominguez. In news that has sent a cold, undeniable shockwave through the entire bold and the beautiful community, Zende is reportedly at a definitive breaking point. Sources close to the designer, who has poured his soul, his talent, and his very lineage into the family company, reveal a deep, debilitating fatigue. The exhaustion is not from late-night sketching couture, it's from the relentless, soul-crushing burden of constantly being the one left out, the one passed over, the excluded Forrester. This isn't merely a plot twist, it's a profound moment of crisis for a man who has always fought for his place. Zende, the adopted son of Kristen Forrester and Tony Dominguez, has the Forrester bloodline, the undeniable genius for design, and the professional credentials, including a successful tenure at Forrester International in Paris. Yet, time and again, when the chips are down, when a major position is opened, or when a family council is called, Zende finds himself standing on the periphery, a distinguished guest rather than a rightful heir. Classical building: the royal court of Forrester, where Zende is an afterthought. To understand the depth of Zende's pain, one must look at the recent dramatic events at Forrester Creations. The company has been a stage for power struggles that read like Shakespearean tragedy, yet Zende's role has been perpetually relegated to that of a gifted understudy who never gets the lead. The whispers began to grow into a roar when the late Eric Forrester, in a moment of emotional vulnerability, chose to pass over Zende, the seasoned, internationally trained designer, to mentor his far less experienced grandson, R.J. Forrester, on his final collection. The slight was public, painful, and profoundly illogical. It was a slap in the face. Zende has given years of his life, his best work, to that company. To be looked over for a younger, less tested relative because of a legacy narrative he himself is part of, it's beyond insulting. It's a fundamental invalidation of who he is. A longtime Forrester Creations employee, who asked to remain anonymous, confided in us. Imagine the feeling. Zende stood by, silently watching as the spotlight he had rightfully earned was handed to another. He channeled his frustration, for a time, by developing a sharp, almost villainous edge, challenging RJ and even crossing lines in his personal life, a clear sign of a man desperate to be seen and felt within his own family's empire. But even this dramatic shift failed to secure him the central position he craved. The exclusion continued, solidifying his role as the perpetual other in a family that officially claims him as their own. Wilted flower: the loneliness of a crown, emotional isolation. The exclusion is not just professional, it has bled into Zende's personal life, creating a profound emotional isolation that is heartbreaking to witness. While his adoptive mother, Kristen, and father, Tony, have always supported him, the core, dominant Forrester clan, the rich Brooke-Taylor-Steffi axis, often seems to forget Zende exists until they need a spare designer or a friendly face. The great family gatherings and crucial, life-altering conversations seem to happen around him, not with him. Even in his romantic life, the drama Zende has been given often feels detached from the high-stakes, epic romances of his cousins. The recent debacle with Luna, where Zende was unknowingly caught in a drug-induced misunderstanding, was a chaotic, humiliating mess that only seemed to further cement his status as a secondary player whose life is primarily a vehicle for other characters' turmoil. He is a talented, handsome, genuinely good man whose stories consistently lack the gravitas and commitment given to the other young Forresters. His exhaustion, our sources say, stems from constantly having to prove his worth in a house where others are simply born into it. He is a Forrester, adopted with love and brought into the family fold, but he is never treated as a first-class Forrester. Airplane: what happens now? The threat of departure. The today very sad news that is circulating is the very real possibility of Zende's total withdrawal. The latest buzz suggests Zende is seriously contemplating walking away, perhaps for good. He's tired of being a temporary fixture, an interchangeable designer who can be conveniently written into the background when the main character's sagas demand all the screen time. The rejection of the crown: will Zende leave the family company he loves? Forrester Creations is more than a job, it's his legacy. Leaving would be an act of profound self-preservation, a devastating admission that the fight for respect was lost. A true expatriate, could Zende pack his bags and move back to Paris? The temptation of a fresh start, far from the suffocating shadows of Steffi, Thomas, and RJ, must be immense. Paris, where he was once a successful lead designer, offers the respect and prominence he's been denied in Los Angeles. The ultimate loss: if Zende leaves, the family loses a major creative asset, and the fans lose a complex, compelling character whose struggle for belonging mirrors the real-life battles of so many. The show's narrative will suffer, losing one of its most diverse and dynamic young leads. This is a crossroads. Zende has a choice: stay and continue to fight for scraps of recognition in his own family's company, or sever the toxic tie that binds him to this perpetual exclusion and seek his destiny elsewhere. The sadness in this news is the loss of potential, the quiet tragedy of a man who did everything right. He excelled, he persevered, he loved his family, and was still deemed not enough when it truly mattered. Today, Zende's tired of being excluded. Tomorrow, he may be gone entirely. And the Forrester family, so wrapped up in their own dramas, may only realize the depth of their mistake when the silence he leaves behind is deafening.